is going to be doing a slub wool boucle. So the first thing we're going to need to do is spin a slub singles of our merino. I have not done slubs in so long, I don't know if I'll even remember how. All right, first thing I'm going to do is split this in half. And let's see if I can remember how to do slubs. Charge our leader, attach our yarn, or fiber. I'm just going to spin just a normal singles for a little bit just to get started. Okay, now basically we're taking a little bite of fiber to make an even yarn. So for a slub, I'm going to want to pull more fiber till you can see it thinning here, and then let the twist in. And then go back to our very fine, then pull a big bite until it starts to thin, and then let our twist in. You want to make sure that you get both ends of your fiber trapped in the twist. That's why you want to pull until you see that thinning. Let's make it bigger. Bigger slub. There we go. Now I'm getting a lot of over twist in there. So I'm going to increase my uptake, and I'm going to park and draft and get some of that extra twist out. You can see how the twist gathers in the thin places. So you have to try to find the balance between too much twist and not enough twist, because you want your slubs to not draft apart. So this one has a fairly long staple, so our slubs are coming out fairly long. Now I think at this stage I wouldn't worry about over twist, because we're going to apply it back, so a lot of that twist will get used up. Now my slubs aren't super consistent, but considering I haven't spun a slub in a long time, I'm going to be happy with it. Just going to change back to doing an even singles for the end, just to give us a place to start and stop. I'm going to add extra twist to that end, hold it back on itself so I don't lose my twist, let it go onto my bobbin, and lock it down. All right, so we have a slub single. I'm going to need to go searching for a thread to ply it with, and we'll get to the next step. BRB. So I have my slub single and I have a thread. These are both S-ply. I checked. But I don't really remember how to spin a boucle. Not the details. So that's why I go back to my book. I'm telling you, if you don't have this book, get it. Get it. It's like a little Bible. Like the two books that I think you should have. Even if you don't get any other books in your entire life, you need these two books. These are like encyclopedias for hand spinners. I can't tell you how wonderful these books are. You need them. Get them. All right. So enough salesmanship. Not sponsored, by the way. Just my personal opinion. I'm going to go back to looking at the basic boucle. So we tie the core and the looping ply to the leader, and hold your plying yarns back and add twist just to the leader. Hold the core straight back with the looping ply out at an angle, and then start to ply by holding the core ply firmly with one hand while loosely guiding and holding the looping ply with the other. Allow the looping ply to wrap around the core, occasionally sliding it up the core. To do this, you must hold the core under tension so it forms a straight line from the orifice to you. This allows, This allows the looping ply, which you hold with less tension, to wrap around the core. Try not to balance the tension. As you push up the looping ply, it will form what looks like little coils. As you later bind the yarn, you'll evenly space these out. Spacing them out now is just a waste of time because as they run through your orifice and across the hooks on your flyer, they usually bunch up. All right, so that's to make the next stage. Then we will take that bobbin, tie the binder in the first ply again to the leader, and then you space your loops so that that'll be the juggling step. And then hold the binder at about a 45-degree angle and begin plying. All right, so let's do this. We have our cord thread and we have our slubby single. So I'm going to put my slubby single on my lazy cape beside me, but I'm not going to tension it. I'm going to take my core and put it on my other side. Then I will tie these two ends together. I'm going to tie them together. Now we did a bit of singles that was even to give us a bit of a leader. All right, now we're just going to let this wrap on, push it up, wrap on, push it up, wrap on, push it up. All right, I'm going to up my uptake quite a bit. Push it up. So each of my slubs becomes, I probably should have put my plying head on because these aren't going to want to go through the orifice. If it gets stuck, just do a little, oh, this one just doesn't want to go through. Okay. Yeah, definitely should have put my plying head on before I did this. All right, we're going to persist because sometimes I can just be mule-headed. Or thick-headed. I mean, really, it's a matter of opinion. Now, because it's not drawing onto the wheel, I built up quite a bit of twist, so I'll just let it wind on. And all right, and then we'll pull it all through. Ooh, this one's big and fluffy and doesn't want to come through. There we go. And then we will hand wind it on. Now you can see why over twist in the singles didn't really matter because it's going to even out here. And we will pull all this through. So keep it out to the side so you're just wrapping around your core. You don't want it actually to have any ply in it. You just want it to be wrapped around loosely. That's how you get your boucle. All right. Pull this through. So you can totally do this with a smaller orifice. Just don't make slubs this big. That was my big issue, is I made huge slubs, which I really like, but they are making it a little difficult to deal with it on this small orifice. All right. Pull this all through. it on. And, oh, that's the end, almost. So one more slub. Whoops, wrong way. One more slub, and then we'll just evenly apply them. Got tangled up on my bobbin. We will just evenly apply to the end. And I don't know if I can break the silk. It might just, oh, I can. I wasn't sure if I could break it or if it would just cut my hands. Because of course I never keep scissors handy. So I will tie the ends of this together. And we'll put extra twist into the end. Apply it back on itself. Stop the twist from escaping. Let it through onto my bobbin. So there's stage 2 of our boucle. It's very, very messy. This is just my personal preference, knowing my handedness. I am right-handed, but I will do stuff back and forth all the time. Got this. Drop that onto my lazy kit. Tie together my ends. And this is step 3 of making a boucle. So we are back to S, Z, back to S. So first we will just spin this first little bit. Oh, I was going to switch to my applying head before I did this. I'm such a doofus head. Let's give it a shot. All right, now we want to arrange our loops before our applying gets to it. Ooh, this is turning out kind of cool. All right. Now, we're going to get our slub up there. Well, it's making an interesting boucle, even if it's not a slubby boucle, because I lost all my structure. Hold on. Let me get a slub going here. All right, get this on the wheel. I need to increase my uptake. There we go. All right, this time we got a slub. Oh, here's a good one. So we're going to so what's happening is, as I'm getting to it, it's taking the twist out and I'm losing my slub. And I'm also tangled on my bobbin. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch before and after so it can't change the twist on my slub. And this one doesn't want to go through because I didn't change to my applying head because I'm a dumbass. There we go. All right. Pinch before and after so the twist can't get to my slub. And then all right. You win, you stupid thing. Well, this experiment didn't go so well. But we have the other half of our humbug merino. So what I will likely do is just finish applying this. I don't think it's unusable, it's just not the effect I was going for. So I think we will change to our applying head and try this again. Now, I will post this because we all need to know that sometimes when we try stuff, it doesn't work and we get frustrated. And I want to show you that just regroup and try again. And honestly, I don't think this is unusable. It's just not what I was going for. And sometimes mistakes can become wonderful surprises. Don't think that's going to happen this time, but sometimes mistakes do become wonderful surprises. Oh, turn my orifice up. It's hitting. Oh, real life. So I'm going to put that there. I'm going to pop our drive band back on. And we will go back to playing. So what I'm doing now is, spinning in the wrong direction. Doing there, then I come down through it, and then I spin back and forth here, which is locking the slub into place. So up and down, go around the slub, up and down, go around the slub, up and down. And that seems to be working much better. This isn't much like a boucle, but I'm getting something that I'm okay with. All right, we're at the end. Woohoo, we made it through. Okay. Just gonna even up here. And a little extra twist. And break off our binder. Pull that through. A little more twisting end here. So let's hand wind that on. Add a little more twist at our end. Fold it in half and let it on through. We are going to have an over twisted mess right here. I can guarantee it, but let's pull it off the bobbin and see how badly it turned out. Because you never know. Once we pull it off, it might look all right. Oh, is it ever tangled? All right. This is my always with me nitty naughty. So I'm keeping it under tension while I tie a knot here. Now, because I know this is going to go all springy and try to tangle, even though it's only just a few strands, I am going to knot around it as well. So I will have one spot where I can find the middle. All right, here we go. Oh, it's not near as bad as I thought. All right. So here's what we ended up with. You know what? I'm not hating it. Was it entirely what I was going for? No, not really. But I'm pretty sure that I can still work with this. So there you see. I experimented. It didn't go well. Would I call it a complete fail? No, I definitely did not get what I was going for, but I tried. And now that I've seen my pitfalls, I can try again and we can do a comparison. So I'll let you know how it goes. All right, here we go. Slubby boucle, take 2. I spun up thick and thin here. So I have all my slubs on there. I spun that on my regular head, but I have installed my plying head this time. I have my binder thread, which is a silk from Camage Fiber Arts. Put that on my left. Take my slubby singles, put that on my right. take my two ends, tie them together. Now I spun S, so I will apply Z. And I'm going to charge my leader. Tie this on. All right. Now we're applying Z, so we're going this way. Increase my uptake. Applying this part even. All right. Now we're going to start. Ooh, way too much uptake now. Start winding it on, shove it up. Wind it on, shove it up. Ooh, there's a big one. Poof. 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 Oh, this is much easier when I don't have to fight and hand wind. I can just, oop, got a little too much twist in that, so we'll just do that. All right, now I'm not worrying about over twisting because our first attempt I learned that a little bit of over twist is a good thing at this point, because we're going to lose a lot of that twist when we go to apply it. Now I need to increase my uptake. You want to keep your core thread very straight so that everything just slides over it. We're almost there. All right, probably a little late to think of this, but I'm having problems tensioning my core yarn, so I'm going to wrap it around my finger to get a little more tension on there. Oh, much better. Come on, draw that on. Well, apparently I still have to hand wind a little bit to get my slibbies on there. Might have too much tension and that's why they're catching. Now I'm definitely having problems with the yarn. The single's not coming off the bobbin very smoothly, so that's another challenge. Okay, now we'll just apply this normal till we come to the end and break it off. Put some extra twist in that, apply it back on itself, and then let it through the orifice. So now we have our second stage of slubs, but here comes the tricky part. I only have one bobbin for my plying head. So in order to keep it from tangling on itself, oops, what I'm going to do is take this off of the bulky bobbin and I will just wind it on to a regular bobbin. So on my wish list, I'm going to add some more bulky flyer bobbins to my wish list. But oh, this is so pretty. I want to just use it like this. But I didn't lock them in, so I can't keep it just like this. I'm determined I'm going to make this slubby boucle. So I will, because I'm stubborn like that. And if at first you don't succeed, try again, because every time you learn something. First thing I learned is make sure I'm using my bulky flyer, because these things they don't look that big when you spin them, but once you crunch them up, they turn into these big floofies. And the big floofies will not go through the small orifice. All right. Break that off. I'm going to tie my ends together so they don't come untangled. And plop that down. Now for the third stage, I want to reverse and have my 2-ply on the left and my binding thread on the right. So I'm going to tie those two together so I can keep track of my ends. And let's thread up our wheel. So we went S to Z, now we're going back to S. And we will join our yarn. And to start, you'll want an even ply. Wow, I'm just like a novice spinner today. All right. So we'll want to get to here and then through our spiral. Now my hand is actually moving things as they're coming up. So I will want to shove up my loops. I think I want to work very close to the orifice for this. Keep the twist from entering, do a knot, go through it, do a knot, go through it, do a knot, then ply through it. I think that for this yarn I should make very much smaller slubs. I think that's my big issue here, but this time is definitely turning out better than last time. So things I'm learning, first of all, it tends to get snarled on the bobbin, which is a bit of a pain. So I should probably have it up level with my wheel. And the second thing I'm learning is to keep a lot of tension on the plying thread to push it through the fluffies to make it more like a boucle. Well, let's try putting tension on. Well, that works better. See, look at the stuff we're learning. We put tension on the binder thread and wind the other one on. Apparently I've got something stuck here. Oh, that's because I switched directions? No. Just hand wind a little bit. All right, let's keep tension on our binding thread and feed this on. Well, that works better. All right, so there's the trick. Keep tension on that thread and wind this one around it makes little poofies. Well, I like the little poofies. This is going to be a super art yarn, but I am definitely enjoying this result much more. So even with the plying head, I'm still having to hand wind a bit. I wonder if my tensioning is just not working very well. Definitely should have made smaller slubs. So if you try this yourself, make smaller slubs. Now I'm finding when I get to the slub, if I change the tension, it winds differently and gives a different effect than if I just... Ooh, that one turned out wicked cool. Let's see if we can do that again. Oh, I like that. They make like little curly cues twisties. Oh, I like that a lot. All right, that's how I'm going to do it now. Just kind of pop it on. Hold it there until it catches. Hold it there until it catches. Oh yeah, I'm liking this. Try changing up our tension again. It really does tangle on the bobbin a lot. Those big slubs just grab onto each other and don't want to let go. So I would say definitely put your singles up so you're pulling off the side instead of up and over. I don't have it feeding through my yarn guide on my Lazy Kate because all these slubs would just get snarled on that. So I would recommend using a table or something to raise your yarn up to wheel height so you're pulling off the side instead of up to prevent that tangling problem, or at least to make it more manageable. All right, there we go. So still not 100% perfect, but definitely I am way more happy with how this one went. So I add extra twist, tie a knot in that end, fold it back on itself, let it ply so the twist can't escape, and onto the wheel. Now we'll use our always available knitty knotty and pull this off the wheel. Oh, I'm loving this one. Oh, this is so much better. Yes, I'm very pleased with how this one turned out. All right, again, we're going to have a lot of active twist, so I'm going to tie my ends together. And I'm going to try to find a spot where there's no slubs. And tie around there so I can find the middle of the skein. All right, here we go. Oh, much better. So this is how it turned out. I'm definitely much happier with this. Like, look at those little slubs. They make little puffs. I love it. I'm much happier with this. Now it is definitely still a bit over twisted, so when I wash it, I'll give it a couple of snaps and see if I can get that twist to even out. If not, I can always run it back through the wheel and take a bit of the twist out of it. But when we compare our second attempt, so here's why we tied it around the yarns. So we can find the middle. we will compare our two. I definitely like this one better. I don't know if you can see this on camera, but this one, they're looser and more fragile, whereas this one, they're definitely in the twist and they're way more secure. Still not perfect, but I am much happier with this yarn than I was with the first one. We will wash this and we'll see how the twist looks in the end and whether we need it to run it back through the wheel and get rid of some of that active twist. Now, because I didn't let the singles rest in between plies, that could be accounting for a bit of the over twist as well. But some of parts of this yarn have come out amazing. Some of them are a little questionable, like this one. We don't have much ply into it, but it is a fairly long staple, so it might survive, it might not. Because it's so poofy, I will probably steam this yarn rather than put it in water. That'll allow it to not get, those poofies won't be crushed then. I have an old rice steamer that I use to steam art yarns like this. So we learned a few things, like this is really tricky to do. Would I do it again? Absolutely. I'll probably do it again a little later because I like to learn how to do things and I want to get better at this. So taking what I've known now, I will make smaller slubs and I'll try it again. So that's our first, what was that, 4 days of our advent calendar. And I am having a blast. So hopefully you enjoyed this video and I will see you next time.